Hi everyone, today I want to talk about my 5 top concealers, under eye concealers for concealing dark circles, because they've got better in the last few years, but I've always had quite dark circles, and when I was at school in my teens people used to call me 2 black eyes. I think that was also because I had quite big boobs, and so I don't know, they made this joke about when I ran I had 2 black eyes. Anyway, I can't believe I just said that. I did have really dark circles under here, and so one of my first beauty quandaries, if you like, was involved with covering my dark circles. So here we go with my top 5, and I've also got a little bonus one. I've shown myself putting these on as well, just so you can see what type of coverage they give and how easy they are to apply, because they vary in both of those things. So the first one is Estee Lauder's Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer, and this was one of the first products that I discovered when I started writing a Model Recommends. And although the coverage is possibly a little lighter than some of the new stronger ones that have come out, like the Amazing Cosmetics Concealer, it still, I think, is a really good contender, because it's just got this gorgeous creamy texture and it's really, really easy to pat in, but it does give enough coverage if you've got kind of medium dark circles, so not those ones that look like they've been painted on, which some people unfortunately have, but if you've got kind of your run-of-the-mill dark circles, then this is absolutely perfect. I like the fact it's quite convenient to apply, so you've got this applicator, you just dot it on underneath the eye, and then it's literally so lovely and creamy that you can just pat it in, whereas some of the others, as you'll see, are waxier, so they take a little bit more working in. Now on the other side of my face I'm applying Dermablend. You've probably heard of Dermablend, and the main selling point with this range and what it was originally designed for was to cover things like tattoos and scars and acne and things that couldn't really be covered by normal makeup. So Vichy have taken this brand and I suppose made it a little bit less, not professional, but a bit more easy to use. So this one is just in stick form, so it's like a little pan stick. And it has got a slight waxy texture, so I think with all of the rest of these actually that I'm going to show you, it's better to apply with your fingertips, because the heat from your fingertips just helps to melt the waxes down a little bit and make it easier to blend into the skin. I mean, if you wanted to go in afterwards with a brush and just buff that out, then you could do as well, but I don't think there's any need. So you can see that that's done a really, really good job. So next we have the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer, and this is kind of a newish launch, I suppose, and it's like super, super, super concentrated under eye concealer. Quite a nice creamy formula, not quite as waxy as the Mercier, which I'm about to show you, but still I think that you do need the heat from your fingertips just to really melt that in, and you need the tiniest amount. I've put on about 4 or 5 times too much in this video, so you can't see what I'm doing actually there, but I'm taking it off again and putting it on the back of my hand as I blend it in, because really I squeeze out too much. You need a pinhead amount, and then you can just work that in, and you can see that that coverage, I mean, if you had those really dark circles, then you'd be doing a good job to cover them up with this, and it's really long wearing, it's not going to slide off during the day. The other eye I used, this is a new one for me and I think this is amazing, Mercier's High Coverage Concealer for Under Eye. Now this is the waxiest and thickest of the lot of them, and you can see as I'm trying to blend that in, that actually it's the hardest to blend, and you really do have to use fingertip for this one, I think, at least at first, because you have to really kind of melt that down, and you only need a tiny, tiny amount, even less than you do with the Amazing Concealer that I showed you on the other eye. But once this is blended in, it is just a perfect, perfect finish. I mean, I feel like this could pretty much cover anything. So this one is a really good buy, and you know, slightly more expensive I suppose for the more concentrated ones, but I can't see how you're ever going to use them up. I mean, it would take longer than a year to use them up because you need so little of this, so they're really actually very good value for money. And then my 5th one, which was a bit of a tie, I have to admit. So I've got 2, so it's like my 6 top under eye concealers. The first one was my very first ever proper concealer purchase, which is from Benefit, and it's called the Boing, I think. And this is called the Industrial Strength concealer, which it probably was when it first came out, and it's very good and it's very easy to blend. It's got this lovely slip to it that just makes it, if you're kind of on the go and you just want to do your under eye circles, it makes it really, really easy to use. In fact, out of all of them, it's probably the easiest and most convenient to use. But I would say that in comparison to things like the Laura Mercier now, it doesn't have quite so much coverage, but it still does a very, very good job. And I think, considering that it's very easy to use and very easy to blend in, that kind of makes it a winner, and it makes up for the fact that the coverage isn't quite so heavy. And the other one is the Bobbi Brown, kind of a duo, I suppose you'd call it. It's got a creamy concealer and a setting powder, and I like this one. I've got this one on this eye because I kind of like the process of it, and in fact I use that setting powder on lots of the other ones as well, just to stop it. I mean, they don't crease, but just because it gives it a nice finished off appearance. And especially if I'm going to be using shadow over the top, because a lot of the time I take the concealer over the eyelid. If I'm going to be using eyeshadow and I don't want it to cling to the concealer, then just a dusting of this over the top just neutralises the whole situation really. And it's got a slightly yellowish tint on that powder, so I think it just helps to brighten up the whole area. And there are loads of others. Budget ones, more expensive ones. I mean, I've got boxes full of them because it's been a little bit of an obsession. But quite nice having to narrow it down to just 5 or 6. But there is one more, and where's that gone? I would say that this one isn't as much coverage. This is the Clarins Instant Concealer. I love this, and I think it's beautiful for under the eyes because it's very soft and creamy and easy to blend. It's not quite as much coverage, but that's my 7, 8, 9, 10 top under eye concealers. Hope you found that useful. If you want, I can do another video on actually how to cover your under eye circles, so give me a thumbs up if you'd like that. Let me know your own kind of suggestions and favourites for under eye concealers in the comments, and I shall see you next time.